Dialogue 21. My birthday's on Thursday.
It's my birthday on Thursday. My 6th birthday.
My 7th birthday's on the 13th of next month. So let me think, 333 days older than you, Ruth.
Do you always put your thumb in your mouth when you're doing arithmetic, Arthur?
My tooth's loose, Ruth. See? I like maths. I came 4th out of 33. My father's a mathematician.
My father's an author. He writes for the theatre. We're very wealthy. When I'm 30, I'll have £1,000.
I'm going to be an Olympic athlete. I may be thin, but Mr. Smith says I've got the strength of 3. Watch me. I'll throw this thing the length of the path.
Oh, Arthur! You've thrown earth all over us both. I'm filthy. Now they'll make me have a bath.
Dialogue 22. I'd rather be a mother than a father.
Where are the others?
They've gone bathing. Heather and her brother called for them.
Heather Feather?
No, the other Heather. Heather Mather. I told them to stay together and not to go further than Northern Cove.
Why didn't you go with them?
I'd rather get on with the ironing without them.
In this weather? There's a southerly breeze. One can hardly breathe indoors.
Go and have a bathe then.
Another bathe? I can't be bothered. I'll go with you, though.
But all these clothes. Who'd be a mother?
I'd rather be a mother than a father. All those hungry mouths.
Dialogue 23. Happy honeymoon.
Hello, Hannah. Have you heard about Hilda and Harry?
Hilda and Harry Hall? They're on their honeymoon in Honolulu.
Yes, the Happy Holiday Hotel. But apparently they had the most hideous row.
Hilda and her husband? Handsome Harry?
My dear, haven't you heard? He held her by the hair and hit her on the head with a hammer.
What inhuman behaviour! I hope she's not badly hurt.
Heavens, yes! Horribly! He hurried her to the hospital. You know how Hilda hates hospitals.
But how did it happen?
He says it was the heat that went to his head.
Dialogue 24. A king and a song.
There once was a king.
King of England?
No, this king's kingdom was far-flung, stretching along the banks of every winding river and spreading into all the angles of the world.
He must have been a very strong king, the strongest. Did everything belong to him?
Almost everything. One evening he was sitting on the bank of his longest river, watching the sun sink behind the weeping willows.
And the nightingales calling from the darkening branches.
Only they weren't nightingales. They were 2 monks, ringing a tinkling bell, singing a sad, lingering song in a strange tongue, no longer known among the younger subjects of his far-flung kingdom.
It's beginning to be interesting. But I'm getting hungry. Can you bring me something to eat and drink, do you think, Ingrid?
Dialogue 25. All dressed up like a dog's dinner.
Jack, for Pete's sake! Who's that girl all dressed up like a dog's dinner? Red hat? Red dress? Red gloves? Ah, but what's this? Blue shoes!
Take that back, Sam Boyd. Dog's dinner indeed.
You're quite right. My dog hates raw meat. He'd have 10 fits if I gave him a red mess like that for dinner.
It's her best dress. To impress you, you rude creature. She's sweet, rich, clever, and a good cook.
Lord save us, the man's mad. Don't say you're in love with the Red Maiden.
Yes, Sam, I am. What's more, we're engaged. This time next week we'll be man and wife.
I did really put my big foot in it, didn't I? All I can say now is, good luck, old man.
Dialogue 26. A lovely little lion.
I love wildlife in its natural element. Look at all your lovely animals, Lucy. Lots and lots.
11, actually.
And look, here's a lovely little lion. A real live black lion asleep on the lawn.
That's a leopard, actually.
I don't believe it. Leopards are yellow. Oh, look, Lucy, he's laughing. Do animals understand the English language?
Leave him alone, Billy. He's licking his lips.
Would you like a lettuce leaf, little lion?
Billy, be careful. Oh, no.
Let go. Oh, help, Lucy. He's got my leg.
Actually, that's how I lost my left leg.
Oh.
You wouldn't listen, you silly fool. Well, let's limp over and look at the gorillas.
Oh.
Dialogue 27. The respective merits of frogs and rabbits.
My rabbit can roar like a rhinoceros. Rubbish. Rabbits don't roar, Roger. You're wrong, Barry. My rabbit's an Arabian rabbit. They're very rare. When he's angry, he races round and round his rabbit run. And if he's in a real rage, he rushes onto the roof and roars. How horrid. Really, I prefer my frog. I've christened him Fred. Freddy Frog. How ridiculous. An abbreviation for Frederick. Well, you remember when I rescued him from the river last February? He was crying like a canary. He was drowning. Really, Barry? Frogs don't drown.
Dialogue 28. A dreadful train crash.
Weren't you in that train crash on Friday, Fred?
Oh, Prue, it's like a dreadful dream.
A tractor, isn't that right? Crossing a bridge with a trailer of fresh fruit, crashed through the brick wall in front of the train.
Yes. The train driver's a friend of my brother's. I was travelling up front with him. I was thrown through the windscreen onto the grass, but he was trapped under a huge great crate. I could hear him groaning.
Fred, how grim.
I was pretty frightened, Prue, I can promise you. I crawled through the broken crates and tried to drag him free. His throat was crushed. He couldn't breathe properly. But he managed a grin.
How incredibly brave.
Dialogue 29. Two tricky problems.
There we were, the 26th Division, on this extremely dangerous mission, with only an extraordinarily stupid sergeant in charge.
If I manage to reach the village store before closing time,
I wonder if Mrs. Pecksmith would exchange the strawberries for a blackberry and apple pie. Oh, just the sergeant, dear.
The message came through from headquarters that we were to proceed to what we called Pebble Beach and examine a fishing boat that was behaving suspiciously.
Oh, that was a strange way for a fishing boat to behave. I could make the stuffed chicken stretch further with masses of mashed potatoes and fresh vegetables.
The sergeant couldn't remember which switch to switch on his emergency transmitter. There we were, approaching the suspicious boat, and suddenly there was an explosion, like an
earthquake, dear. Then, with a large blackberry and apple pie and whipped cream, there should be sufficient.
Strictly speaking, the sergeant shouldn't have been in charge. I remember the explosion split my trousers.
Well, go and change them, dear. The children will be here any minute.
Dialogue 30. What a boring book you're reading.
What are you doing, Elizabeth?
What am I doing? I'm reading. What does it look as though I'm doing?
What are you reading?
A book, silly. What do you think? You can see I'm reading a book.
I wish I could have a look at it. Do you think I could have a look at it, Elizabeth? Elizabeth, is it an interesting book?
Yes, a very interesting book, but an adult book. OK, come and have a look at it and then go away and leave me alone.
But what an awful book. It looks as boring as anything. How can you look at a book like that? What does it say?
Jonathan, you're an awfully boring and annoying little boy. Go away.